As Willy Breitling described the new Premier line back in the 1940s, quote, the unmistakable stamp of impeccable taste, close quote. Today, I have a modern Premier in front of the camera. This is the B01 Chronograph 42 in blue with the 7-link brushed and polished bracelet. This one comes in on a retail price of $9,500 on the bracelet, and it is just a beautiful watch that is slightly understated and slightly surprising. So I'm going to talk about this, talk about the pros, talk about the cons, talk about my opinions. And before I do that, let me first shout out Brent Miller Jewelers. Brent Miller Jewelers is an excellent brick and mortar family-owned AD in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I've visited their store multiple times. I've bought from them multiple times. If you're looking for a good Breitling AD, I'm going to recommend them, and a link will be in the description of this video. Now, going back to this Premier B01 Chronograph 42, it has a very handsome dial with a bicompax register layout, also done in blue. The sub-registers have a concentric ridge texture, and I think that sits nicely in contrast to the main portion of the dial, which has a very light sunray pattern. It is subtle. On Breitling's website, it looks like a darker blue, but in person, it's brighter, it's lighter, and it has some of the warmer color hues, and maybe that is emphasized by the slight use of red on the running chronograph seconds hand. Now, there will be applied markers and syringe-style hands. They're an all-polished finish. They do grab light very nicely. Note the white date wheel at the 6 o'clock position, and then the applied B-style logo, of which I am a fan of, and I know a lot of you that watch me are a fan of that style of logo. Now, the dial and details, I think, are well executed, and they are easy to appreciate because the box sapphire crystal has a very satisfying application of anti-reflective coatings. Those are found on the top of the crystal as well as the underside of the crystal. So the clarity really is noticeable, and in specific light angles and scenarios, you will notice a visible iridescent blue sheen from direct light sources. And I think this only adds to the visual weight of this specific blue dial execution. This 42 comes in a couple different colors, but I really think it looks good in the blue. Now, this on wrist, this in person, it's deceptive because it is substantively sized at 42 millimeters of case diameter, but it feels at home on wrist. And just for reference, my wrists are 7.25 inches in circumference. I don't think that this is too large or too tall or too hefty. I think the lug-to-lug dimension is very manageable at 50 millimeters, and the weight on the bracelet without taking any links out is only 168 grams. So I'm going to place this next to a Super Ocean Heritage 242B20 that carries the same diameter, but it feels like a larger watch, a more hefty watch, and it illustrates the fact that this Premier is understated and it's comfortable. I really think this has a good presence in person, and being partial to a good bracelet myself, I feel that this watch looks the best on the 7-link design. Note that the finish is great. The links have full articulation. There will be screw pins connecting the links together, and the clasp has a nice action with the signature here. The unfortunate part is this does not have any quick adjust system or micro adjustment option, so that will keep people away, some collectors away from this specific model. But I will note that there are also 2 3/4 links included, so you can kind of dial in the fit, just not to the same degree that you may like. Now, the finish is sharp. The case is mostly polished, but I do enjoy the rectangular function pushers and how those correlate to the Art Deco decorative lines that are set into the case sides. Again, this is just a handsome watch that really pays, I think, a good homage to Breitling's past. The movement within the case is the in-house COSC certified B01 caliber that will have 47 jewels, KIF shock absorbers, a beat rate of 4 Hertz or 28,800 beats every hour, and 72 hours or 3 days of power reserve. This will also have a column wheel for smooth starting and stopping of that chronograph complication, and I think a very pleasant traditional movement finish with polished screws, Geneva striping, some purling, some gilt text, and I especially like the addition of the skeletonized rotor. This allows for more of this movement to be admired through the display case back. Now, this watch will have 100 meters of water resistance. It will have twin crown gaskets, but no thread down action for the crown at the 3 o'clock position. And then let me also give you the actuation of the chronograph right up next to my dynamic microphone. It is nice and crisp. It's fairly loud, and I think it is appropriate for the price of $9,500 on the bracelet, full retail price, or $9,100 full retail price on the OEM leather option. Now let's summarize this watch and wrap up this video. I think that this, again, is a very sharp design with details that are easy to appreciate. I think this is a very solid movement, a very solid bracelet. I love the crystal clarity. I love the presence on wrist without this feeling like it's too tall or too hefty. It comes in only at 13.6 millimeters in overall height, and that's basically the same as an Omega Seamaster. So I find this fairly impressive for a chronograph, an automatic chronograph with 100 meters of water resistance. I think most collectors know that Breitling, they excel with their sport watches. I know a lot of you love the Super Ocean, you love the Chronomat, you love the Navitimer. I love all of those models myself. And I think that the Premier is the more underrated line. In fact, I've owned the Datura 42 recently, and I will say that that was easily one of the most satisfying watch purchases that I've ever made. It's under the radar, it is cool as can be, and it's a little unexpected from the idea that we have of Breitling in our mind as watch collectors. So I will say that a pickup from the Premier line, like this B01 Chronograph 42, it's a good pickup, and it pairs very nicely with one of the sport models that I think Breitling is so well known for. So lastly, let me just show you again this next to the Super Ocean Heritage 2. What a duo this would make. You have a chronograph, you have color, you have a sports piece with water resistance, you have two different bracelet options. There's a lot to enjoy about a combination like this. It's nice to be able to have that option from one brand. So let me know if you have any specific questions. I'll do my best to answer those questions in the comment section of this video. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Links will be in the description. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.